Hi everyone, this is Andrea, and I'm up with a look at my Project Life week 1 for March of 2014. Um, Here I'm just flipping through the Project Life Becky Higgins home mini kit cards, trying to find a card that will be good for my week dates. I kind of do my Project Life a little bit differently than everybody else. I have a monthly divider page that any extra photos go on to. So then my weeks run from Monday to Sunday, but with March, the first and second was a Saturday and Sunday. So I just am doing a 2 pages on those 2 days. So here I kind of like that brown wood grain, but I'm trying to see if there's one that I like a little bit better. So I decided that I like that XO cross stitch one the best. And I've got 2 more pockets. I have that photo of Jamie feeding Addie that I want to make fit into one of the pockets, whether it's to cut it in half, and that's what I'm debating, is if I can cut it without cutting off faces, or what I end up doing is cutting it into a square so that it fits a 3x3 square. I got all my photos this month printed through a deal with Snapfish instead of printing them on demand at home, and I got them all printed at 4x6, so it's kind of thrown me for a curve in that normally I print all my verticals at 3x4 and my horizontals at 4x6, so it's making me be a little creative this month. So that picture that I cut 3x3, I wanted to cover up that memories because it didn't really apply so much, but I wanted the space to be able to journal about that day and Jamie feeding her. So now I'm flipping through and trying to figure out what cards I want in those 2 empty spots. I know I want a journal about her Ella's baby food because she loves it. So I decide on this journal card because it matches that wood grain. However, I end up changing my mind later because on the back of it is that really cool house print that I want to use the house as opposed to that side more. And here I'm just cutting one of those Studio G 6x6 pieces of paper that I pulled that kind of fit the color schemes on this page so that I can do a filler card with it. And I'm using a different set of page protectors since I normally do like a design A style. So these page protectors I apparently haven't used a whole lot of. I believe they're We Are Memory Keepers, but they're super tight, whereas I've been using Paper Studio mainly, and there's probably a 1/4 inch of extra space for bulk and etc. inside each of the pockets, where I really struggled with getting some of these pictures in and out of these pockets. So I'm going through these label stickers. They're Woodland something. Hang on, I'll go check. They're Woodland Park by October Afternoon label stickers. And I just put them down on some wax paper to see which ones I wanted to use and which photos they would sit on better without covering up details that I thought were important. And unfortunately, my recording space is really tight, and for most of this I cut off the top of the spreads. I'll try and make sure I don't do that in the future. However, please bear with me. It's rather awkward the way I have to record currently. So I'm just going through each of them and figuring out which ones I want where. Now I'm going to put the date, March 1st and 2nd, using the Authentique Delightful Elements letter stickers. And then I don't know where I went. I'm going through all the different letter stickers that are in my kit. And I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to use, which ones will fit, which ones have numbers specifically, because I want to do March 1 and 2. So I ended up deciding on the Authentique Delightful Elements. And I used the pink letter stickers because they matched the pink of that card really well. And they're like square tile stickers. So I'm just fighting with lining those up. So pretty much this week, Jamie caught us sleeping in the bed, and she was mimicking my pose as we were both sleeping. That's the top middle picture there. The top right picture is I was feeding her mashed potatoes at Pizza Ranch, which is kind of one of our Saturday traditions, is to go there. And this was the first time she got any table food. The bottom left picture is just a mommy and me photo. And then the bottom two pictures, and then I also added a little strip of off that same sticker sheet that says daughters are the sweet flowers of life, since it's mainly about us on that front page. The bottom two pictures are of Grandpa feeding the birds, and the left one is in the morning and the right one is at afternoon, evening when it snowed afterwards. So I'm just layering the label stickers with some of the scrap paper that I cut from the Studio G 6x6 pad. And I'm just journaling that Daddy caught us asleep in the bed like twins. And I decide that it needs a little bit more layering. So I pull out these two blue papers from that Studio G, and I'm trying to decide which one I want to use. I end up with the blue kind of grid paper one, and I just hole punch with a 1.5-inch circle punch 2 circles that I'm going to use for layering on this spread. And now that I've decided that, I have to peel up the label and the pattern paper, and then I just trimmed the circle. And then I used those Authentique pink tile stickers again to write 1, because I like to date all my photos on my Project Life spread, even if they're the same day. I also ended up adding a little flower from the Authentique Delightful sticker sheet just to add a little bit of detail. And now I'm going through and working on layering on the next one. I used one of those label stickers, the blue graph paper from the Studio G, and then a pink and cream polka dot from the Studio G as well. And now I'm just journaling. We went to Pizza Ranch for lunch, and you loved to eat the mashed potatoes. And then that card I took these Sticko puffy heart stickers and just did a little cluster with them, creating a little triangle just on the page itself, on the Project Life section. I go through these puffy stickers, enamel dots, and rhinestones continually on my Project Life spreads. I love them. They just add just a tiny bit of detail. So now I'm going to work on that bottom left one, and I'm just reading through the phrases on the phrase sticker side of the Authentique Delightful sticker sheet, trying to find something that would go along with this picture. There's all kinds of different phrases like dreamer, gorgeous, girl, her, shoes, sweet, bright, etc. Sisters, angel, bows, girl, adorable. It's perfect for pictures of Addie. So I decided on Mommy's Princess. So I'm just pulling that picture out, and I wanted to use a label but didn't want to cover up anything, and the labels I had pulled were a little bit too big for that section. I actually start trying to put the phrase stickers at the top and decide that I don't like them there. You can't see that because the top's cut off, unfortunately. So I get out this Prima flower and decide that I kind of like it in that bottom corner, and I think the phrase stickers would work well there as well. So I just cut a small rectangle out of that blue, kind of more turquoise, but out of that graph paper, and I'm layering it underneath the flower. And then I just added those phrase stickers over the top, slightly overlapping the graph paper that extended from the flower. And now I'm just adding in 2 of those little puffy heart stickers, and I added one in the center of the flower as well. Now I'm just struggling to get it back into that sleeve. Like I said, they're really, really tight. I don't know what the deal with them is. I'm just lining it up with the picture on the back because I can still see that little bit of white from the back side of the other picture. Now, for these 2 pictures, I wanted to make sure I could use a label sticker or something to write the time, because they are from the same day, and that's kind of how our March weather has been, where it could be sunny and beautiful outside one moment and then it snows. And I didn't have a label sticker that was going to be big enough for my story, so I'm flipping through the 3x4 cards to see if there's a card that I can cut apart and make work for my story. And I found this blue graph paper card. It's just got like a blue border on it, and I'm just going to trim it so that I get a little bit of that blue and then that graph paper to journal on. I'm going to stop playing with the blanket. Sorry, my daughter is awake and I'm trying to finish my recording before my husband gets home with dinner. But she just woke up. She couldn't give me a couple more minutes. So now I intend to use that other half down there so that the 2 photos tie together. And I used 2 of those label stickers. One says date and one's just blank from that October afternoon. And I don't think I'm going to use that other 3x4 card part. You talking? Because I think it covers up too much of the photo. And I'm just putting in the time, which was 8:43 a.m. Grandpa fed the birds. And I added 2 more of those flower stickers off of the Delightful sticker sheet. And this was still on the 1st. And I'm just journaling that Grandpa K has a set routine of when he feeds the birds each morning and evening. He goes out at specific times so that he can beat the blackbirds and not feed the blackbirds, and it's just something he does. And that's that Authentique sticker sheet. That's probably the best view of the whole thing that you get the whole video. And now I'm still playing around with that 3x4 card, trying to figure out what I want to do with it. And I decide on cutting it down even further and layering it under that little piece of the pink and cream polka dot and that label sticker from the October afternoon sheet. And I'm just taping that all together as a cluster. And I'm just journaling, but he wouldn't have to do it so much if it would just stop snowing. And this snowy photo was taken at 4:16 p.m. And that's what I was doing looking at my phone. Was to figure out what time it was. And I just used the Authentique Delightful tile letter stickers to do AM and PM on both. So this is the second half of the spread, the back side. And I'm just flipping through, trying to figure out what card I'm going to replace that card that had that house on it. So I got this, it's like a graph paper that's got a blue and white diagonal stripe on it. And I used my Smash roller date stamp on, it's got a section that says I love this, and then the date. I double stamped it. And then I'm using those little heart stickers to make a tiny little cluster on that banner piece. And this is where I'm using up some of the leftover pattern paper. I used that polka dot. I used my other circle that I had punched earlier out of the blue graph paper. And I'm just trying to get it layered so that I like it. And I find on the phrase sheet something that says adorable and colorful today, since she had food all over her face. I thought that was quite applicable. and then I end up using one of the little flowers off of the Authentique sticker sheet as well, which is what I'm doing now, trying to find something that's small that would fit in that tiny little space. And I try and use the stamp again up on the journaling card because the story I was going to tell was going to be about the Ella's baby food and how much she loves it. But I just couldn't get it to stamp right, so I ended up cutting a 3x4 card. I actually think it was the back side of the card I cut on the front page, so the scrap that I had left from those two pieces. And I covered it up with that. And apparently my recording stopped midway, so I made this filler card using one of the Project Life cards and some ribbon and some stickers off of the Authentique sticker sheet. The little, that's the yellow ribbon I used on that filler card. And then I used some of those heart stickers and just kind of scattered them through the page. So I'm just giving you a view of both of them finished. This is the first part and some detail shots of the cards. And that's pretty much all I have. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll check out my other videos that come up this month as I try and use up my April counterfeit kit. Thanks for watching!